Good morning to everyone at today's public hearing of the Vetting Commission, established under Law Number 65 of the year 2023 on the external evaluation of judges and candidates for judges of the Supreme Court of Justice. I'm Scott Bales, the chair of the commission, and I declare this session open. The hearing is being conducted under the Commission's rules of organization and functioning as part of the evaluation process. The subject of today's hearing is Ghenadie Mîra, a candidate for the position of member on the Selection and Evaluation Board of Judges. Judge Mîra is a judge at the Chisinau Court of Appeal. Judge Mîra, welcome.
Bonjour.
I'm joined by four other commission members. To my left is Vice Chair Andre Bevel, and members Lavely Perling and Yuri Gatskin. To my right is Commission Member Lillian Ansu. The Commission is also assisted by members of its Secretariat, and you may notice also in the room there are some possibly members of the public and representatives of the media. Photographers here who will be taking photographs at the opening of the hearing for just a few minutes. The hearing will be conducted with interpretation between Romanian and English. To allow for accurate interpretation, I ask everyone to speak clearly and slowly. Furthermore, the proceedings are being recorded. The recordings of the Commission's public hearings generally will be available online at the Commission's website, www.vettingmd.eu, within 3 days after the hearing. During the hearing, one or more members of the Commission may ask questions, and I would ask you to answer them truthfully and exhaustively. Your explanations are important to the Commission in verifying your financial and ethical integrity. And at the end of the hearing, you will be given an opportunity to make a brief closing statement. In posing questions, we will take into account your privacy and, where required and possible, the privacy of others, such as family members and close persons. So we will omit unnecessary details such as ID numbers, bank account numbers, specific real estate addresses. For the protection of privacy, we ask you to do the same. I will start by briefly reviewing the evaluation process for Judge Mîra. The Commission initiated its evaluation on the 6th of December 2023 by notifying the judge by email and asking him to complete and return a voluntary ethics questionnaire and the financial declarations required by Law Number 26 of the year 2022. Judge Mîra completed the declarations and the questionnaire and returned them on the 8th of December 2023. As part of evaluating a subject's ethical and financial integrity, the Commission also obtains information from many other sources, such as the National Integrity Authority, the State Fiscal Service, the General Inspectorate of the Border Police, other public institutions, financial institutions, and open sources. The Commission assesses information it obtains for its relevance and reliability. On the 30th of January 2024, the Commission asked Judge Mîra to provide additional information by the 6th of February 2024 to clarify certain matters. After the Commission granted Judge Mîra a one-week extension for his response, he provided answers and documents on the 13th of February. On the 19th of February, the Commission asked Judge Mîra to provide additional information by the 25th to clarify certain matters. On that day, he did provide answers to the Commission's questions and presented most of the requested documents. On the 5th of March 2024, the Commission asked Judge Mîra to provide additional information by March 7th. On March 6th, Judge Mîra answered the Commission's questions. On the 12th of March 2024, in accordance with the Commission's evaluation rules, the Commission notified Judge Mîra that the Commission, in its investigation, had identified some areas of doubt about his compliance with the ethical and financial criteria and invited him to attend a public hearing on the 22nd of March 2024. On the 14th of March 2024, Judge Mîra requested that the public hearing be held in a closed session. The Commission denied this request in a reasoned decision on the 15th of March 2024. On the 18th of March 2024, Judge Mîra received access to the evaluation materials from his dossier. On the 21st of March, Judge Mîra asked for the postponement of the hearing scheduled for March 22nd. The Commission granted this request. On the 1st of April, the Commission asked Judge Mîra to provide additional information by the 8th of April to clarify certain matters. On the 7th of April, Judge Mîra answered the Commission's questions. On the 12th of April 2024, the Commission invited Judge Mîra to attend today's hearing. On the 24th of April, Judge Mîra requested that part of the hearing be held in a closed session. On the 25th of April, the Commission granted this request in part in a reasoned decision. Judge Mîra, let me ask at the outset, you've had several rounds of questions from the Commission, provided answers. Are there any corrections or additions you wish to make to the information you've previously provided to the Commission?
No, all the information that I have submitted by the end of the evaluation, the full, and I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Well, we will then turn to some specific questions. As you know from the notice of hearing, the Commission wants to talk to you about three general areas. First, you did not disclose in the ethics questionnaire that you submitted to the Commission that in 2017 you had been briefly a suspect in a criminal investigation. Now, you were removed as a suspect and that investigation was closed in 2018. When the Commission in a third round of questions asked again if you had been a suspect in a criminal case, you did identify the 2017 investigation and noted that the prosecutor's office had closed the case because the facts were not proven. So that's the first area that we'll ask some questions about. Second, we want to talk to you about your purchase of an apartment in 2017 for possibly an undervalued price. And then finally, we want to talk to you about your decision, your participation in a decision by an appellate panel that allegedly disregarded a decision in the same case by the Constitutional Court. So let me turn then to that first topic. That 2017 investigation was prompted by a complaint by an attorney alleging that you had participated in corrupt activities in 2013 and 2014 when serving as a district judge. Now, the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office conducted an investigation. They concluded the evidence did not indicate any illegal actions by you, and that criminal investigation was formally closed on the 16th of July 2018. Now, according to the APO's order on that date, you had been informed on September 28th, 2017, in the presence of your attorney, of your status in the investigation. The APO report also notes that 2 weeks later, on the 14th of October 2017, you were removed from criminal investigation. Now, the Commission is not asking you to address the allegations. As I noted, the APO concluded that the allegations did not support criminal charges against you. Its investigation indeed found that there was evidence contrary to some of the allegations. And the Commission has not otherwise in its investigation identified doubts about your participating in corrupt activities. Instead, what the Commission wants to discuss is why you did not disclose in the ethics questionnaire that was submitted on the 8th of December 2023 that you had been previously a suspect in this investigation. So the questionnaire, you will recall, asked in section 1 if you had ever been, among other things, a subject in any criminal case. Your response checked the box no. But in the third round of questions that were submitted to you on the 5th of March 2024, the Commission noted that there had been reports in the media alleging that you had been the subject of a criminal investigation related to bribery while a district court judge. When the Commission called this to your attention and asked if you had previously had any procedural status as a suspect, accused, defendant, witness in any criminal case to provide details regarding the case, you did respond on the 7th of March and provided information about the 2017 investigation. So let me just pose the question at the outset. Why did you not disclose the investigation in your December 2023 response to the ethics questionnaire?
Deci, după cum
As I have, as you have correctly mentioned, I didn't disclose in the questionnaire originally, voluntarily, about that fact, about that complaint and that investigation, because it created a confusion regarding the ticking off or communicating, disclosing this circumstance only in the case where that it was publicly reported, and only where such cases are outstanding or pending the examination, or if there are any sanctioning procedures that are in their process of examination that are not finalized. And in this regard, it was my error. I mistakenly believed that in that time I was preparing for a business trip, and I informed the committee through the email on December 8, 2023, that in the context of the limited deadline I was given, I was to fill out and add, disclose circumstances if any additional details identified. And later, and after the different ungrounded accusations in the public appeared, I explained the circumstances, and for that reason, I communicated about those circumstances, and at the same time, I communicated the name, the last name, details of that process. In other words, what I want to say, I didn't have the intent to hide from Commission this complaint, that in the end it turned to be ungrounded. And as I communicated in my answers to the Commission, that was done to for revenge purposes. As long as this process was closed, the investigation was closed, dismissed, I believed I didn't have to disclose it.
Do you understand today that the questionnaire does ask for the disclosure of concluded matters?
Yes, I understood this not only today, but even immediately when I understood that I haven't filled in correctly that column. And immediately I informed the Commission about that circumstance. In other words, I think that simply not ticking that box can equate to non-communication, because I communicated willingly about that circumstance, about that criminal claim.
In response to the Commission's third round of questions, correct?
Da.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, and again, I appreciate your explanation, because the form, if you read it, talks about if there has been a final decision that is public, and then ask for certain information. And then it further goes on to say if the decision is not public, but you have a copy, to provide it. So it does ask for information about concluded matters, and it also asks for matters whether they're public or not. You agree with that, correct?
Da, sunt de acord.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Okay, and am I understanding you correctly that when you completed the ethics questionnaire in December of December 8th, you mistakenly omitted this prior investigation, and it was because I'm not sure I understand. You did note that you were on the eve of a trip. Why were you mistaken about what it was asking for?
I focused actually rather on the declaration itself. And given the confusion with the voluntary questionnaire, I thought the questionnaire is not so relevant, is not that much relevant for those aspects. And this is why I focused specifically on the declaration of the relatives, close people, and the others. That was the reason, the cause.
Well, granted that the questionnaire is voluntary, you do understand that information provided in response to it must be accurate, correct?
Yes, I realized that. And as I mentioned to you, I realized that was my own error. And in order not to give the possibility for manipulating with information, I just described those circumstances related to the complaint and the circumstances of the examination of that complaint.
All right. Let me ask if any of the other commission members have questions on this topic before we move on to the second. All right. Then, Judge Mîra, I'm going to turn to the questions related to the purchase of the apartment. In 2017, you bought an apartment that had about 64.5 square meters of area located, well, I don't know if I don't think we need to even identify the location, and it would be hard for me to correctly pronounce. I think it's Winchester. Yeah. The price for the apartment in the contract that you made was $375,404 Moldovan lei, which was at that time about 18,000 euro, or a price of approximately 279 euro per square meter. You bought the apartment from an individual named, I believe, Moya or Mola.
I'm sorry?
The seller was someone named Mola. Oleg Mola. Now, he had purchased the apartment 4 years earlier in 2013 for a contract price of 41,295 euro, or on a square meter basis, about 650 euro. So the purchase price by the person who sold the apartment to you was something more than twice the price that you paid. So the commission is interested in that difference, and when we ask you to explain the difference in price, in your written answers you said that you did not know what the former owner had paid for the apartment in 2013. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true. Indeed, there are these circumstances that you have described, they exist. I could do a chronology of the events starting from 2017. Is that okay?
Yes, that would be helpful.
So, that apartment I bought together with my wife, following negotiations directly with the former owners. And when we purchased this apartment, we used the savings in cash, about $10,600 and 223,000 Moldovan lei. For the former owners, I should mention that it was very important for them to receive the money immediately.
Why did you understand they needed to receive the money immediately?
They asked, actually that was the purpose for this transaction. They asked us to pay immediately the money because they explained, that's from their own words, as far as I remember, from 2017, they said they needed an amount of money to invest, to pay for a bigger rate of an apartment in the municipality of Chișinău, the interest for an apartment in Chișinău.
When did you first meet the seller? When did you first meet the person who sold you the apartment? When did you first come to know them?
I met him on the day of the negotiation of the price. So basically, we didn't have any other linkages with that family before the purchase, neither after the purchase of the apartment.
So, as I understand from your answers to the Commission's questions, you were introduced by, was it the godparents of your children?
No.
How did you meet the seller? How did you come into contact with them?
Deci, da, i-am identificat prin
I identify them through some godparents of my children. Yeah, people who baptized my child.
Do you know how they had any connection to the seller, how they learned that he wanted to sell the apartment?
N-am intrat în detalii.
No, we haven't discussed details about that, but these godparents, they knew that we were looking for an apartment. They even knew what savings we had. I was telling them all the time what is the amount that I could pay for an apartment.
Okay, and I don't want to prevent you from continuing with your chronology, but I just want to be clear on a couple points before we move on.
Okay.
Did you know the seller before you met him in 2017 to negotiate the purchase price of the apartment?
Nu.
No, I've never met him before.
And since you completed the purchase in 2017, have you had any relationship with the seller?
Nu am avut nicio relație.
No one relationship with the seller. And we have never met after that.
După asta.
And let me ask then one more question. As I noted, the purchase price under the contract that you paid was 375,404 Moldovan lei. Did you provide any payments for the apartment to the seller other than the contract price? Were there any payments outside of the contract?
În afară decât plata
Aside from that payment, which was declared in the contract, I haven't paid any other amounts of money to the seller.
Okay. So if you want to continue on your chronology, please go ahead.
Da, la
Yes.
acest capitol, deci
So,
dumneavoastră practic ați anticipat
you actually anticipated
de ce aveau, de ce, bun, cel puțin care a fost
on the aspect,
explicația
like
acestora,
what
de ce aveau
was the
nevoie
explanation of the seller why they needed that amount of money immediately.
Chiar nu pot să cunosc motivele
I don't know the
care au stat
reasons
la indicarea prețului
behind
în contractul
indicating
din
that price in the
2013,
agreement in 2013, if I'm not wrong, of the former owners. At the same time, what I want to mention is that that was an investment agreement. That wasn't a purchase-sale agreement. Actually, it looked like sales, but it was actually an investment agreement. And the payment was done in installments for that agreement. So at the same time, what I'd like to mention to the Commission is that during that period of time, when I went to see the apartment, in the same block of buildings, I've seen announcements at the entry to the block in the court of that building. Announcements selling apartments, but they had one room just, and the price varied from 300 to 400 euro per square meter, I guess he means. And this attractive price that was provided to us by the sellers counted a lot for us in order for us to decide to buy this apartment. So you also mentioned about the street. I would like to show to the Commission this picture where we have Chișinău, a map with Chișinău and where the apartment is located. So indeed the apartment is located in an area outside the municipality, bordering with the district of Ialoveni on the main road. And this circumstance of course, led to a lower price compared to other apartments. If we do some calculations, in 2017, I didn't know about the pre-vetting procedure or vetting procedure. But the cash amount that I used for purchasing the apartment coincide approximately with the cash amount that wasn't included in the interest and asset declaration submitted for 2017.
Okay, and let me ask one follow-up, because you touched on a point that I was interested in asking you about. I think, if I understood you, you said that when you went to the apartment building, you saw notices for other apartments for sale, and there were a range of prices. And I think I heard you say kind of ranging from 200 to 400 euros per square meter.
3 și 4, nu 2.
Not 2 and 4, but 300 to 400, he said.
So my question was, did you make some effort at the time to kind of compare what the going price was for comparable apartments? Other than seeing those notices, did you otherwise try to determine, what was a reasonable price, or what was a good price?
Yes. The fact that we opted for a smaller price of the apartment, this is what motivated us to agree to live at a distance further from municipality of Chișinău. And I mentioned about the announcements for those apartments that they costed 300, 400 euro per meter, and we thought there was a problem about that block of buildings. There were some issues with the block of buildings, and actually my wife talked to some of the owners of other apartments in that same building who lived there. And one of the neighbors told us that he sold his apartment in Ialoveni in order to purchase this other apartment in Hântești because he has seen how the building was built, and he said they actually used qualitative materials in the building. If I got your question properly.
No, I think you did address it. I understand from what you said. You and your wife, when you bought the apartment in 2017, you thought you were getting a good price for it, and you did see some postings for other apartments in the building that were for sale, and you understood, as I heard you say, that the sellers were partly willing to sell for a good price because they wanted money quickly and immediately. Is that correct?
Da.
Yes.
And did they tell you that? Is that how you knew? Is that how you came to that understanding? Or how did you come to understand that? How did you know that the sellers were willing to sell quickly?
Actually, that was my question to the seller. What's the issue? Why are you selling it with such a price? Without me knowing details about the former investment agreement, I also asked them, why are you selling it for that price? Because I didn't know about any details or possible vices, issues about that apartment. So I was assuming anything, and their motivation, their reason was that they wanted to pay urgently for interest rates for a bigger apartment that they were buying in Chișinău, in the Buiucani district of Chișinău, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, and did you finish? Did you finish what you wanted to say in terms of the chronology? Okay, go ahead.
What else I wanted to mention about this? is that I didn't have any benefits after purchasing this apartment, in terms that the eventual tax is being paid by the seller rather than by the buyer. At the same time, there was no commercial purpose. I do live with my family in that same apartment, and we purchased it for this purpose. We didn't buy it in order to buy it for cheaper and sell it for bigger money.
In the preparation process for the hearing, I recalled about the fact that at the time, at the notary discussion, I insisted to show in the contract a clause that the price of the apartment declared and mentioned there is a real and effective price, specifically to avoid any speculations in the future about the price difference, because I saw that there was a better price, if I can say, rather than, or compared to the price of other apartment sellers or sellers or owners of apartments. In other words, I am a judge, and I cannot say that I paid a higher price for an apartment simply to be perceived as a more trustworthy judge. That's my point.
Okay, and you actually, I think you went back to one of the questions I was trying to ask earlier. The contract price was in fact what you paid for the apartment, correct?
Yes, it is so, and point 41, I indicated that the declared and mentioned price by us in that document is real. Although the contract was signed by my wife, we bought it both for the usage of our family. That is why I insisted to indicate this clause in the contract.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say on this topic?
I would like to communicate that for sure the process during the past 5 months made me to be checked constantly by the Commission, and I saw the prices indicated even for 2017 by other candidates varied between 270 to 600 plus in other decisions. So I also checked other decisions, and I saw bigger prices declared.
Okay. Let me ask if any of the Commission members have any questions on this topic they would like to ask. Yes, Mr. Gatskin.
Mr. Mîra, during 2017 and 2018, you bought that apartment. At that time, there was a possibility for judges to buy apartments at a better preferential price. You had to apply. Did you apply for that possibility? Regretfully, I applied, but my application, I applied in 2013 after serving as 2 years as a judge, and I was requested to have 5 years of experience to apply. Then I applied later when I served 5 years. If I remember, it was 2016, 2017. And my application was rejected to receive or to use that possibility given by that program to buy apartments at a lower price that was offered for judges.
Ms. Perlin?
Thank you. Mr. Mîra, I have also one question. It was 2017 when you bought the apartment. It was the same year when you were recognized as subject of a suspect in criminal case. Did you consider, when you bought the apartment, that as a judge, in this situation where you were, you would still not buy an apartment cheaper than the market price? Just did you consider?
Deci, dacă să facem o retrospectivă,
If I look backwards, this complaint was submitted after I bought the apartment. In other words, those claims were raised after I bought the apartment. I don't see any link. I didn't know. If I knew that someone would complain against me, I would definitely
vedeam care sunt
would have seen which would be the circumstances and the effective intent, but they didn't relate to the purchase of an apartment. They were explained to the Commission in my answers.
Mr. Beeville?
Domnul Mîra, una din explicațiile pe care
One of the explanations you provided to the Commission regarding the difference between the market price and the price in the contract was the condition of the apartment. You said that probably the difference in price or the real estate agencies sell apartments at a higher price that are ready to move into. What were the conditions of the apartment? It was not repaired or in poor state, and the poor condition of the apartment made this small price. Without renovation, you mean an apartment as we refer to as the gray or the white walls, as we refer to? Or do you mean that somebody lived there for a long time and didn't repair? Well, basically, it was in a new building with the white walls and some renovations, minor renovations done. And after that, you have spent some money to renovate fully to be able to reside in it, right? Yes.
Anything further? Yes, Mr. Gatsky.
Domnul Gatscan. Mr. Mîra, during the examination of the complaint and of the criminal case, do you know that authorities did authorities investigate your assets with regard to purchase of that apartment? I am not aware about this, whether they have assessed it or not. Okay, thank you.
All right, if there are not any other questions regarding the apartment, then Judge Mîra, we will move to the third topic. And this is one on which we did grant the request to hold it in closed session. So we're gonna take a brief break so we can make the adjustments we need to do for that. We've now resumed the public hearing concerning Judge Mîra. Let me ask if the commission members have any additional questions they would like to ask the candidate. Judge Mîra, would you like to make a brief statement before we conclude today's hearing? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Da, cu siguranță. Da, cu siguranță.
Yes, for sure.
În aproximativ 13
So,
ani de activitate,
during my 13 years in the position of judge,
trecut printr-un șir de
I've
atestări,
gone through different evaluations, but in the pre-vetting procedure is one of the most complicated procedures.
timp de 5 luni,
Or during 5 months, I have been in a permanent state of alert.
probabil că nu am verificat atât de des.
Probably I haven't checked my mails never in my life.
Fiind de fapt în una dintre cele mai lungi
Being actually one of the longest deliberations in my judge career.
altfel nu pot
Or
explica
Otherwise, I can't explain this procedure in terms of the pressure, psychological pressure, in terms of intercalation of my job activity with the providing answers to the questions of the Commission. All the time I was checking my email to see whether I meet the deadlines for the answers. The rigid discipline and the ethical conditions that this Commission is checking for sure will be useful for my further activity, regardless of what that will be. And I will carry out my judge's duties in line with the oath I made when I was appointed. At the same time, taking this opportunity, I would like to thank all my close people to whom I asked different explanations for the period of the evaluation, and they accepted this situation. I'm not sure if myself would be able to explain so many explanations as they provided to me. At the same time, I hope very much that this procedure will have a single nature, a unique nature, and the purpose would be reached. Otherwise, justice in the Republic of Moldova would be in a permanent transition. What I wish as a judge, I wish that judges in Moldova would get one day not to feel guilty of the fact that they are judges. And to you, I wish good luck in your activity. And taking this opportunity, I'd like to say that I understand how hard it is to fight disinformation, information that's being spread in the public space, and facing the real situation in the field. Thank you very much for your time.
Judge Mîra, the Commission understands that the process is a rigorous one for candidates, and that, of course, is meant to ensure that it's a process that's thorough and fair, and that the results earn the confidence of the public that their judges do have the integrity they're entitled to respect. We appreciate your submissions and answers to the questions that the Commission has asked over the course of its evaluation. We've now come to the end of today's hearing. After the hearing, the Commission will approve an evaluation decision stating its conclusion whether the subject meets the criteria for ethical and financial integrity under Law Number 26. The Commission will strive to complete its decision and announce its conclusion as soon as possible. It generally seeks to do so within a month after a subject's public hearing. The hearing is now closed, and I wish everyone a good day.